And now on BBC Radio 4, the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 0015 on Friday the 12th of January. There are warnings of gales in South Atsira, Fisher, Bailey, Fair Isle, Faroes and Southeast Iceland. The general synopsis at 1800. High Fair Isle 1045, expected Shannon 1037 by 1800 Friday. The area forecasts for the next 24 hours. Viking, North Atsira. Northerly backing westerly or northwesterly 4 to 6, occasionally 7 later, perhaps gale 8 later in Viking. Fair, then occasional rain, good, occasionally poor. South Atsira. Northerly or northwesterly 6 to gale 8, backing westerly 5 to 7 later, occasional rain later, good, occasionally moderate. 40s. North backing northwest 4 to 6, then west 5 to 7 later, occasional rain later, good, occasionally moderate. Cromarty 4th. North or northwest 2 to 4, backing west or southwest 3 to 5, increasing 5 to 7 later, mainly fair, good. Tyne, Dogger. North or northwest, backing west later 4 to 6, fair, good. Fisher. North or northwest 6 to gale 8, mainly fair, good. German Bight, Humber, Thames. Northerly backing westerly or northwesterly later 4 to 6, occasionally 7 in North German Bight, mainly fair, good. Dover, White, Portland, Plymouth, Biscay. East or northeast 4 to 6, mainly fair, good. Trafalgar, Fitzroy, Seoul. Easterly or southeasterly 4 to 6, occasionally 7 later in Trafalgar and southwest Fitzroy. Occasional rain later, good, occasionally poor later. Lundy, Fastnet, Irish Sea, Shannon. East or northeast 3 to 5, becoming variable 2 to 4 in Irish Sea, fair, good. Rockall, Malin. Variable 2 to 4, becoming westerly or southwesterly 4 to 6 in north and later throughout Malin. Occasional rain later, good, occasionally poor later. Hebrides, southwest 2 to 4, increasing 5 to 7, veering northwest 4 to 6 later, fair, then occasional rain, good, occasionally poor. Bailey, southwest 4 to 6, increasing 7, a gale 8 for a time, veering northwest later, occasional rain, good, occasionally poor. Fair Isle, Faroes, variable 2 to 4 at first in Fair Isle, otherwise westerly or southwesterly, veering northwesterly later, 5 to 7, occasionally gale 8 later in northeast. Fair, then occasional rain, good, occasionally poor. And southeast Iceland, westerly or southwesterly 5 or 6, increasing 7, a gale 8, veering northwesterly 5 to 7 later, occasional rain, good, occasionally poor. And now the weather reports from coastal stations for 2300 on the 12th of January. Tyree automatic. North 1, more than 38 miles at 1044, falling slowly. Stornoway. West by north 2, more than 38 miles at 1043, falling slowly. Lerwick. Northwest 3, more than 38 miles at 1040, falling slowly. Wick automatic. West 1, 16 miles at 1042, falling slowly. Aberdeen. Northwest 3, 22 miles at 1042, falling slowly. Lukers. North-northwest 1, 22 miles at 1043, now falling. Boomer. North by west 3, 14 miles at 1042, steady. Bridlington. North-northeast 4, 1039, steady. Sand Lady light vessel automatic. Northeast 5, 11 miles 1035. Greenwich light vessel automatic. 5 miles 1036. St. Catherine's Point automatic, east by north 2 1037, now falling. Jersey, northeast by east 4 16 miles 1036, now falling. Channel light vessel automatic, northeast by east 5 1037. Scilly automatic, east by north 4 14 miles 1038, rising slowly. Milford Haven, northeast by north 2 12 miles 1040, rising slowly. Aberporth, northeast by east 4 22 miles 1041, rising slowly. Valley, northeast 3 19 miles 1041, rising more slowly. Liverpool Crosby, northeast 1 13 miles 1041, now falling. Valentia, southeast 1 16 miles 1042, now falling. Ronaldsway, northeast 3 1042, now falling. Malin east 2 27 miles 1044, falling slowly. And Machrihanish automatic, north-northeast 1 more than 38 miles 1044, falling slowly. And here's the weather forecast for the inshore waters of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, valid for the following 24 hours, issued by the Met Office at 2300 on Friday the 12th of January. The general situation: high pressure centred to the west of Scotland will bring settled conditions to much of the inshore waters. However, strong west or northwesterly winds develop through Friday for Scottish waters, with a risk of gales across the far north. Cape Wrath to Rattray Head, including Orkney. Variable 2 to 4, becoming westerly or southwesterly 4 to 6, occasionally 7 later, perhaps gale 8 for a time later in north. Fair, then drizzle in north, then occasional rain throughout later. Moderate or good, occasionally poor later. Rattray Head to Berwick upon Tweed. Northwesterly, backing westerly or southwesterly 3 or 4, increasing 5 or 6 later. Occasional rain later, good, occasionally moderate later. Berwick upon Tweed to Whitby. North 4 or 5, backing northwest 2 to 4, then west 3 to 5 later. Mainly fair, good. Whitby to Gibraltar Point. North 3 or 4, occasionally 5 at first, backing west later. Fair, good. Gibraltar Point to North Foreland. Northerly or northeasterly 3 to 5, backing westerly or northwesterly 3 or 4 later. Fair, good. North Foreland to Selsey Bill. Northerly or northeasterly 4 or 5, decreasing 3 at times later. Fair, good. Selsey Bill to Lyme Regis. Northeast 4 or 5, decreasing 2 or 3 later. Fair, good. Lyme Regis to Land's End, including the Isles of Scilly. Northeasterly 3 to 5, fair, good. Land's End to St. David's Head, including the Bristol Channel. East or northeast 2 to 4, occasionally 5 at first, fair, good. St. David's Head to Great Orme Head, including St. George's Channel. East or northeast 3 or 4, becoming variable, mainly north 1 to 3, fair, good. Great Orme Head to the Mull of Galloway. East or northeast 3 or 4, becoming variable 3 or less, then west or northwest 2 to 4 later, fair, good. Isle of Man. Northeast 3 or 4, becoming variable 3 or less, then west or northwest 3 or 4 later, fair, good. Lochfoyle to Carlingford Loch. Easterly or northeasterly 3 or 4, becoming variable 3 or less, then northwesterly 3 or 4 later, occasionally 5 later in north, fair, good. Mull of Galloway to Mull of Kintyre, including the Firth of Clyde and North Channel. Northeasterly 3 or 4, becoming variable 3 or less, then westerly or northwesterly 3 to 5 later, fair, good. Mull of Kintyre to Ardnamurchan Point. Variable 3 or less, becoming west 4 or 5 later, occasionally 6 later in north, occasional rain later, good, occasionally moderate later. Ardnamurchan Point to Cape Wrath. Variable 3 or less, becoming westerly 4 to 6, occasionally 7 in north, veering northwesterly 4 or 5 later in north. Fair, then occasional drizzle, then rain later, moderate or good, occasionally poor later. And Shetland Isles, northwest 4 or 5, backing west 5 to 7, veering northwest 6 to gale 8 later. Fair, then occasional drizzle, then rain for a time later, moderate or good, occasionally poor later. And that completes the shipping forecast. Well, looking ahead to later this afternoon, new 5-part thriller. Maita is searching for her father who has disappeared, and when she goes to the docks where he works, she discovers he's not the only thing that's gone missing. Cobalt begins this afternoon at 2:15. Well, that's it for another day here on BBC Radio 4. On behalf of my colleague Charles Carroll in the newsroom and myself, Al Ryan, here in Broadcasting House, if you have been, thanks for listening. Have a safe, quiet and peaceful night. Good night. Ihawa.